Hey, it's me, Jamin. In an effort to keep this vlog at a manageable length, I removed the opening bit where I'm driving into the casino. You know what happened. I know what happened. Let's just get on with the 2.5 no limit. Enjoy. Oh, wait, yeah. When I got to the casino, there was a 5-10 game running, but there was no empty seat, so I got a good 25 minutes of quality 2-5 action in before a seat became available. Okay, bye. Oh, and I talked to 2-5 peeps into straddling, so I guess it was kinda sorta like a 5-10 game where everyone was super short. Kinda? The seat at the only 5-10 game running at the Bellagio, hell, in all of Las Vegas actually, opens during a dealer change, meaning I get to enjoy the Strategy Void Bomb Pot at my new table. I look down at King 6 off and nothing comes of it. Stuck $30. Moving on. The next hand dealt, also the first real hand I see, is... Really? We're starting the day and the session off with this bullshit? Under the Gun opens to $30 and I raise to $100 and nothing comes of it. Unstuck though, back to even. Moving on. 5 minutes later, I'm fiddling around with the exposure setting on my camera. There are 5 players currently at the table and we are playing with only 1 blind. The Under the Gun player opens to $20 and I look down at...
Children, we have pocket queens. Come gather around.
We won't need you for this one, babe. I make it $70 from the cutoff, and everyone folds. Moving on. There was a lot of pre-flop passiveness here in the early going. A lot. I was taking advantage of this by opening the small blind pretty liberally. Liberally meaning 100% of the time, really. In this iteration, I opened King 5 of spades to $30 and the big blind defends. Ace Queen 7 rainbow, and that's a damn good flop to bet. In theory, anyway. I continue for $40 and he, you guessed it, moving on. Same player in the 8 seat opens, this time to $30. We raise him again, this time to $90, and that's that. I'm not getting into a lot of meaty hands yet here. Can you tell? Blind versus blind again. I open with Jack 8 of diamonds. That works. I'm not showing them all, but I've opened from the small blind every time it's been folded to me. Maybe 4 or 5 times thus far. And won all of them. The very next hand, I'm on the button. I go back to the well. This time with 10-6 suited. I open for $30 and get 3-bet to $120. So maybe he's just had enough? He's had enough, you know? He's had enough. He's making a stand. He's making a stand. I can't. You got me. Rich, I ever tell you a story where I was trying to be a nice guy and it ended up sending me on life tilt? Like,
I've done it to myself before too.
So every once in a while, you know, they'd have like a 5-10 game on one of these tables over here. And if you're there at certain times, like the line for O like stretches, right? And so anytime there'd be like a little kid, you know, like just standing in line waiting, I'd always give them $1. So there was a little kid in line with his family or something, and I gave him like a blue chip. You know, and he was all excited. Oh, thanks, mister. You know, it's like the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Which I would thought if I was a little kid and somebody gave me like $1, like a casino chip, I would have thought it was cool.
Yeah.
So he runs away. He comes back with like 5 other kids. And he's like, I got it from that guy. And so now, I'm just handing out blue chips. Yeah. Like, I'm stuck like $10 off of this thing. And I'm on life tilt. Like,
Yeah.
That's what you get for giving a kid $1. He did think it was so cool though. He told all his friends, "We're gonna go get this guy."
We got one.
Apparently, living in Vegas too long.
so remember how I was telling y'all that I was stealing the big blind relentlessly? Well, looking down at the real version of Ace King, a legitimate hand, this is what all the stealing was for. Now I shall get rewarded. I go for the steal again, $30, and before I can even bet, the big blind is reaching for $30 to call. Too funny. 8-9 deuce, all clubs. Well, that's not a good start. As you can clearly see, I don't even have a club. Check. He continues for $20. Call. Queen of Hearts. I check. He checks. 10 of Diamonds. Well, this hand didn't do what it was supposed to do. But oftentimes, Ace High could just be good. Check. He checks and shows me Ace 10 offsuit for a rivered pair. So unfair. Okay, so I'm not frustrated. Well, not super frustrated. But I do think this session should be going better than it is in this lineup. Then this hand goes down. The hijack has been off in the sportsbook doing some wagering, and when he returns, he posts $15. Cards are dealt, and besides the small blind limping in and me looking down at 4 high, nothing else happens. The flop? 4, 10, 4, rainbow. Okay. Here we go. It's my turn to get picked. The small blind checks and I continue for 1/3 pot, $10. The hijack raises to $30 and the small blind quickly folds. Interesting. 200 plus big blinds deep, I can't go crazy with my trips with no kicker here. I call the extra $20. Then get instantly rewarded when the 3 of clubs peels on the turn. Now holding a full house, I check. The hijack continues for $100. Wow. He has the last 4. There's 0 chance he would limp 10s pre-flop, so unless he has some version of 10-4, I'm gold, pony boy. I check raise to $260 and he thinks for a second, then cuts out 3 black chips for the call. Yep, got him. Until the dealer puts the 10 of spades on the river. Mother. Check. He grabs a stack of 7 black chips and drops them in my face. Well, he's passive. The whole table is passive. My check raise probably would have folded out even ace 10 on the turn, so let's just hope we're chopping. I call and chop with 4-7 offsuit. Okay. Frustration is building a lot more after this one. Button opens to $30, and holding 9-8 of clubs in the small blind, the smart move would probably be to just fold. Playing this hand out of position, not much good can happen. But we call anyway. Heads up. Jack 9-8. So we flopped bottom 2 pair on this ugly board. Is this good? Would you feel good? Uncertain is more like it. I check and he checks it back. That feels better. The turn deuce of spades puts 2 spades on board and I lead, $60. He calls. I'm pretty sure going into the river that I had to fade something, just not sure what. The river deuce of clubs? Now I can't beat much that would call a bet. I check and he checks it back. I do win this one, but... 10 minutes after the 8-9 of clubs hand, the cutoff opens again to $30, and this time, I 3-bet him to $140 holding 2 red jacks. He calls. Queen 7-5 rainbow. Not a bad board, although not what I was really hoping for, but I continue for $130 anyway, and he calls again. The turn 7 really isn't my favorite. This street goes check, check. As the dealer is burning and turning the river deuce, I notice the button is already reaching for some weapons. I check, he unleashes $320, and I just fold. I'm not in the hero call and lose mood today. We open pocket 3s from under the gun, and we shouldn't be opening pocket 3s from under the gun, but oh well, sue me. The cutoff calls. Ace Jack 6 with 2 spades. We have nothing on this board, but we can increase our chances of winning if we bet. We lead for another $30, hoping he will just fold something like pocket 5s or pocket 7s. He folds. Raise. So things aren't going the best, and they're about to get worse. Way worse. Literally the tightest player in the entire Las Vegas 5-10 player pool opens in early position, and I look down at pocket 10s. Lord help me. I'm scared. I've never been so scared in my life. But I call. My buddy Jeff in the small blind smiles at me as he folds and references a video I sent him about playing a hand versus this particular player in which I did the impossible.
I just remember the video we sent you.
I'm scared. Bro, I just played a hand where opens under the gun, Zach calls, I call on the button, right? Hands don't matter. What we're holding doesn't matter. Flop comes ace, ace, 8, and leads, Zach folds, and I raise. I raise. I don't have an ace. I don't have an ace. Ace, ace, 8. And folds, and I feel so fucking alive right now. I'm alive. So we are heads up. 6, ace, 6 with 2 diamonds. He continues for $20, and I really should just fold. But the thought of spiking a 10 on the turn and feeling the pain of losing to his pocket aces is just too tempting. Shaking with fright, I give up the $20. The turn 3 of clubs falls, and now he bets $50. Keep in mind, this is an older man, so $50 was probably the price of a car when he started playing poker. He's basically betting a whole car on the turn. That's enough. I can't take it anymore. I give it up in fear.
I'm starting to not believe your story, bro.
Oh, that was magical.
I don't even think it happened.
Yeah, I just randomly made that hand up. Yeah, no. That was the best day of my life. The morning continues, and keep in mind, it's not even 11 a.m. yet. With the straddle on, I opened a $40 from early position with pocket 8s and only get action from the straddler. 8-7-6 with 2 diamonds. Look, I'm grateful I flopped the set. Really, I am, but damn, this board is so messy. Check, check. The turn ace of clubs increases the number of hands he can possibly continue with, but he checks again. I bet half pot, and he just folds. One of the worst hands I play happened shortly after. I opened a $20 with ace-8 of spades from under the gun, and both the cutoff and the big blind called a 20. That's fine. Ace-jack-6 with 1 spade. The big blind checks, and I continue for 1/3 pot, and only the cutoff comes along. Again, that's fine. The turn brings a queen. This card, it's not the best, but I continue for $50 and the cutoff calls again. The river pairing the queen and me leading for $80, probably not the wisest. I guess I could get called by a smaller ace, maybe, and then chop? My line is kinda suspect on this one. He shows queen 10 suited, and thus is my punishment. So here's today's mid-session update. I've had 2 full houses counterfeited on the river. Any big hand preflop that I've picked up has turned into dust. I'm stuck about $600-700. It's just poker. Or maybe I just suck. I don't know. When I finally do look down, I see 2 black aces staring back at me from the small blind. I'm all in.
Good luck, guys.
You have got to be kidding me.
I feel you're going to raise.
Mhm.
That's why I didn't raise.
You can raise now.
And I'm going to.
You can raise now if you want.
I'm going to pass this card. I'll call.
Gotta get clock.
You play 1 card.
Take care.
Yeah.
All right, appreciate it.